So you survived school, but you didn't survive school, did you? You thrived off school.
Well, I was earning good money.
Yeah.
I was earning a lot of money from
Not
this.
the right answer.
You won't have this conversation with anyone else.
No, but I'm saying I was good money, so I was addicted to school because I was getting the dopamine hit playing sport and thriving at sport.
So how did you get into
I
Loughborough?
paid all the rich kids to do all my coursework. But I had to stay at uni because of the money I was earning. I was doing £3,000 a week at uni.
The festival, Bournemouth Sevens, you had to cancel
It
it.
became illegal. You weren't illegally allowed to put on a festival. I mean, you've sold 30,000 tickets 2 months before your festival and then been told you can't put it on. I like the risk. I like the sleepless nights. I like everything about it. I like opening doors. I like introducing people. But you really have to treat it as an extreme sport because you can't just walk into entrepreneurship. And they went, "Are you an addict?" So I was like, "No, definitely not. I'm cool." And then this woman grabbed the mic and went, "Can I speak?" She went, "I think you're a risk addict." I was like, "Yeah, I think you might be right. Addiction and risk. I've never heard of that before."
You are the Artful Dodger who's been incredibly successful, and I want to try and find out what the secret sauce is, because that secret sauce contains ADHD without a shadow of a doubt.
Dodge Woodall, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure, John.
Do you know why you're here?
About ADHD.
Recently diagnosed.
Yes.
When did you first have someone say to you, you might have ADHD?
I had a good friend of mine, Lewis Moody, who is the ex-England captain, World Cup winner. He said to me about a year ago, he said, "Mate, you're on the spectrum." I was like, "Shut up, mate. What do you mean on the spectrum?" Because when you grow up as a kid, you think spectrum, da 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 da. And we had a laugh about it. And then you said to me, "Dodge, I think you've got ADHD." I was like, "Okay, and?" You're like, "Do you want to come up and do this course, or was it a course, or have a chat for a couple of hours, or whatever it was, to have a conversation?" And then I had a conversation with this lovely lady for a couple of hours, and she just at the end of it, she's like, "You're 100% ADHD."
110%.
Was it? Yeah.
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 So how does it feel? Has it made any sense of anything?
No, it feels absolutely exactly the same as it has done for the last
I knew.
God knows how many decades. Exactly the same.
So many people we speak to have used terms like unemployable, misunderstood. You've never had a job,
Never.
which makes this a really interesting conversation. So that entrepreneurial streak, that whole taking kind of control of your own destiny, taking risks, it's always been a constant with you.
Yeah, since the age of 10. Constant risk-taking in business, and that's just been the way it is. I loved every minute of it. Someone said to me, I was speaking on stage the other day, and someone said, talking about addiction. And they went, "Are you an addict?" I was like, "No, definitely not. I'm cool." And then this woman grabbed the mic and went, "Can I speak?" And she spoke and went, "Can I just say something?" And I was like, "Yeah, go for it." She went, "I think you're a risk addict." I was like, "Yeah, I think you might be right." So there is some, addiction and risk. I've never heard of that before,
If you look at
addiction-wise, but...
Well, if you look at what you have done from such a young age, if I'm right, taking kind of broken toys or damaged boxes out of a skip at the back of your dad's pub that were then things you could fix up and sell on for a few quid that cost you nothing, to then being a promoter for the club next door and getting yourself a quid or two as a young lad, to then becoming a huge kind of promoter in that space as an older version of yourself. That has led to you having all sorts of trial and error, things that haven't worked and so on. So that risk-taking element, that barometer, it's all you know, isn't it?
That's all I know. That's all I know, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as failure in my vocabulary. There's no fear in the vocabulary. There's no fear of anything. There's no fear of failing. It's always just tweaking and tweaking and tweaking. You only fail when you have to give up on something and then say, "I've given that a go, it hasn't worked out," and then that's how I see failure. But yeah.
Let's.
Yeah.
I've met you twice, and I've spoken to you on the phone.
Yeah.
And you make me laugh every time.
Thank you, Phil.
You do. You make me giggle every time. It's impossible not to laugh. You're absolutely brilliant to be with. Everyone calls you Dodge. Real name is?
Roger.
The
Dodger.
Okay. And that's,
My dad's name is Roger as well.
So you were always the Dodger.
As soon as I was born, I was always Dodger. And that's who I am today. And Dodge. Yep.
So we got this. Why are you smiling?
Because he just makes me smile.
Yeah, it does. And you've got, you without any shadow of a doubt, you're an incredibly successful man. You've never been employed. You've been the Artful Dodger. You are the personified Artful Dodger, not Roger the Dodger out of the cartoon. You you're an international man of mystery, and yet there's no mystery about you. And I mean that in the most affectionate term. You've never had a job. You've been an entrepreneur. And when we think about entrepreneurs, we think serious, we think suits, we think whatever's, or we think whatever we think about them. But you are, I've watched you over the times we've been with you. And John said to you at the start of this, do you know when the other TV program goes out and you go, well, your ability to process data is almost nil unless you're clearly motivated about it, and then you don't forget a thing.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah, 100%.
And that I sit and watch you, and I just think that is so ADHD, so relatable to what we're talking about. And you sit here, a very successful man, an extremely. What I'm trying to get to is, you're the most unique person with ADHD I've ever met, and I want to get that uniqueness to come out in this television.
That's quite a statement, though. How many tens of thousands of people?
Absolutely. But we talk to other people, and I want to bring this out. This is what I think we need to bring out here. We talk to people who've had their hardships, their shame, their whatever, and that's right, we bring out that story. You are the Artful Dodger who's been incredibly successful, and I want to try and find out what the secret sauce is, because that secret sauce contains ADHD without a shadow of a doubt. You're very ADHD. You flirt with everything you meet, don't you? In a good way. Do you know what I mean? You attract people. You'll take a risk. You'll take a gamble in the conversation. We couldn't have a sandwich without having a laugh and a giggle. Yeah. And I just find that totally and utterly attractive. And that's probably where your success is. But how have you found life then? Because in so much as people can relate to you even if they don't know you.
Yeah.
Why? How? How does that happen?
Maybe it's been growing up living above pubs in London as a kid, and when you're growing up above a pub and you've got 1,000 people in a feeder pub and you've got a nightclub next door and there's just a wall here of my bedroom to the nightclub, everyone was wheeling and dealing and I was just around adults the whole time. There was toxicity in there, there was craziness going on there, people were earning money, the doormen were there. I just learned at a very young age to be good with people, and my mum and dad are really, my dad's from East End of London, really good bloke. My mum's from Manchester, both entrepreneurial, both good people, not educated, but graft. They put in a shift, they're good with people and they have fun. Everything they do is about fun and bringing happiness. But in a world that could have been quite a murky world as well, being in pubs and clubs and what have you, I just love people. And when you were living in a pub, there was no boundaries for me. There was no get to bed at 7 p.m. I was up till 11, 12 at a nightclub next door. Every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, literally a wall. And all you could hear was, "Come on, Eileen," and everyone's singing. And that was life. And I was out earning money. I was seeing the opportunities and I fully embraced it. Would I want my kid to be brought up in a pub? No. But I wouldn't change a single thing, because you learn your trade as a young kid. I learned my trade. People are learning entrepreneurship in 30s and their 40s. I was at it at 10.
Talk to us about that. You've mentioned the skips and what have you. Talk to us about the Artful Dodger, the wheeler dealer, because you just went into that, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, also, you are your parents, whether you like it or not. You are your parents, and I am my parents, and it was all about my old man, dad at the time in the 80s was a bodybuilder, so he used to have the big gold tracksuit bottoms on, the big, and he'd always have a grand on him everywhere he went. He always had a grand cash everywhere. So as a young kid, he was teaching me how quickly to count cash. So I'd put a grand down, he'd put a grand down, we'd go, ready, steady, go. So he would have the quickest hands. There's all these little things were going on. I was selling tickets to the nightclub next door at the age of 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, because Dad's pub was a feeder pub. So when you got a feeder pub, back in the day, people would go at 7 p.m. and go till 11 o'clock, and at 11 o'clock, they go to the nightclub next door. So I'd go to the manager of the club next door at the age of 10, buy 20 tickets off him for £1. I'd sell them for £2, and the people who bought tickets off of me would get queue jump. So I was taught at a very young age to create win-win situations in everything you do in business. All that's done is that pound a man as a young 10-year-old, and now where I am now, it goes up to £1 grand a man or £4 grand a man, whatever it is, whatever businesses out of the three I've got at the moment.
You learnt the principles.
You learn the principles. You learn the principles to look someone in the eye and do a deal and shake their hands. You read a room as you walk in a room. Like my peripheral vision, I know what's going on
You've
everywhere.
got amazing awareness.
And it, yeah.
And intuition as well, because you must have been done over a few times. You must have learnt character
Try to
traits.
be done over.
Yeah, fair play. Really interested in the education piece, because it feels like your education was real time.
Yep.
Parents, all the adults around you. And going back to what's almost baffling you with that kind of ADHD part, it feels like this is such a clear example of the environment that you were able to then thrive in, that a lot of people only find as adults. What was school like for you? How did you do in
I
school?
love school. I had so much fun every day.
Even more confusing.
I didn't expect that answer.
I love school.
How?
I thought you'd thrive outside of school, and then
Mate, I love school. I loved being outside of school. I lived 2 lives. I was very lucky that my mum and dad earned enough cash to send me to a private school from the age of 8 to 18. And I can't thank them enough, because the contacts I met there and the amount of money I earned off all the rich kids. It was phenomenal.
So it wasn't about algebra.
I didn't understand algebra, I didn't understand Latin, I didn't see the
That's
point
what
of
I was
physics.
asking.
I didn't
You loved
understand
school 'cause
all
you
of those
did
subjects.
deals
I
with
knew
people.
that I was good at maths, good at English, and I was really good at sport. And I knew if there's 400 kids at that school, my mum taught me at a young age, pound a man. And that stuck with me for life. So when I was at the school with 400 kids, pound a man earning money. Next school, 600 kids, pound a man earning money. Then I went to Loughborough Sports University, there was 12,000 people on campus. And that's when it was a game changer.
Mate, this is golden.
You went to an industrial strength of entrepreneur at college.
What do you mean by that?
You went big scale at college. You've done 400, you've done 600.
And then got 12,000.
And you went for it.
What's he doing? Wait until he hears what he's doing now with Bournemouth 7.
12,000. I remember going there and thinking, it's 12,000 people on campus. How do I get a pound a man? But you remember, that's 9 years from being taught that as a 10-year-old, pound a man. So we'd outside on bank holiday, outside the pub. There's 3 ways I earned money in the pub. Outside the pub, bank holiday weekends, I'd go to the cash and carry and we'd get loads of ice creams and loads of hot dogs. I'd set up a stall outside because it was on the River Thames. So the walk by trade was tons. But I'd paid so much attention to detail in the marketing, the way I'd held the boards up, the way it was written, so people could see and understand what they could buy. And if it was tonking with rain, if it was bad weather, people would buy hot dogs. And if it was amazing weather, every bank holiday, people would buy ice creams. And I'd come out 600 quid net profit. Net profit, not the turnover, net profit as a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old, 13-year-old, every bank holiday. And on the back of the pub, there was a Toys R Us at the back, and they had these massive skips, and I'd go skip dive, and my mate Chris would get my ankles, and I'd go in and get these massive toys out that might have been chipped a little bit. I'd set up a stand at the back because all the walk-by trade would go, all the parents, mum and dad, and they had a bum bag, and I'd be selling all these toys. So that's the back of the pub, and in the pub is when I'd do the tickets for the nightclub next door. So I was constantly earning money, and it doesn't sound a lot as a 10-year-old, 20 quid to earn just selling tickets for half an hour. I'm talking the 80s and 90s, but and earning 600 quid, which was mega. And the stuff we didn't sell, took back to cash and carry and gave it back to them. So the model was amazing. So I was learning how to be with people. I was learning how I could scale businesses. I was learning how I could market and promote. But I didn't understand this at the time. It just was ingrained into you. And as the years went on, the money got bigger. And when you hit 17 and you had a car and you could sell loads of stuff out the back of your car, that was like my shop window. The shop. I'd go to the Blackbush market and get a load of Timberland jumpers and Ralph Lauren jumpers and that at the back of your car. It allowed me to go to where all the wealthy kids were on the back of your car and buy them for tenors and sell them for 30s. The money jumped massively at the age of 17. Then you got into Loughborough Sports University, and then the money just went a whole new level. So I got into the nightclub world.
Can I interject with this? This is golden, right? When I asked you about school, I was genuinely asking, how did you find your maths lessons on? And you skipped through that and went straight to that entrepreneurial part. I know you talk a lot about the risk taking and the probably what's a dopamine hit.
I love dopamine.
What?
Dopamine and endorphin are my 2 chemicals that I love every day. I have to have every day, as much as I can.
Yeah, and that, which is a key part of the whole ADHD conversation. You understood that before you understood almost like the whole sort of relevance, if you like, to ADHD. But that can get you into trouble. That can get anyone into trouble. That could be addictive tendencies, that the wrong crowd, which you just clearly swayed and avoided, if you like, through school and through life. But that can go into drugs, it can go into stealing, all the wrong things, can get into trouble with the law. But it can also get into trouble where you make decisions based on the gut feeling and so on, and then they could be the wrong ones. What's your experience with things that have gone wrong, where you've tried something and it hasn't worked?
In business?
Yeah.
like I said before, the only see failure is if you have to close a business down and hand it back, or close it down and you've lost a lot of money. I built 5 businesses over 30 years. The first one, the student nights for 10 years, where I had 12 nightclubs every week and I'll take all the door money. That worked unbelievably well. There was nothing to sell at the end of it. Then I got into creating a festival, and we're now 19 years still independently owned with 30,000 people, 100 DJs, 12 festival arenas, celebrities, TV crews, So that's still going. The sportswear brand that we created in 2010, we built that over 8 years and we sold that company. Then we got into the pandemic and we created 2 new companies, and one of them we just sold yesterday. So
Congrats.
Thank you. That's a big one for us. It was, there's nothing there that I can say there's any failures in there. But
There was a pivot.
all I can say, there was a big pivot. All I can say, that it was, all I do is tweak. I don't say it's a failure. If something's not working, tweak, change that. Get rid of that person, move it, constantly moving it around. And when you're obsessed with something, like totally obsessed, to be successful in business, I truly believe you have to be obsessed and you have to love what you do. And I've got both of them. Luckily enough, I've created businesses that I love putting smiles on people's faces. That's what I've earned all my money for 3 decades or more decades, of putting smiles on people's faces and bringing a lot of happiness. And it's just carrying on at just at a larger level. But I don't want to sound like, there's no failures. There was lots of things you get wrong in building a business, but that's part of the fun of building a business. I love the chaos.
Well, this is what my question was loaded, because actually you just literally see anything that other people might see as a wall, as an obstacle, and get around it. And I think the best example of that is in COVID. The festival, Bournemouth Sevens, you had to cancel it.
It became illegal. You weren't illegally allowed to put on a festival. I mean, you've sold 30,000 tickets 2 months before your festival, and then been told you can't put it on. Yeah, there's a serious amount of money involved in this. I was like, right, shit, I need to think of.
It's a massive event, right?
So what did you do?
But just on that, we're from the same town. We used to live roads apart from each other. So the amount of people I know that know Dodge, that knew him as very well connected, successful, but Bournemouth Sevens. Many people watching and listening to this now will know him as 100 million plus views on the Eventful Lives podcast. He started in lockdown as the pivot.
Right.
And then got back to what makes us smile, the relatability, which brings it all back to ADHD, just being himself, just asking questions that a journalist might not have asked, asking questions that he's naturally interested in to people that he was interested in. And that's blown up for you.
It's gone crazy. But again, I didn't know what I was doing. I just had to think of something. So I need a business that's pandemic-proof and online. My businesses have always been physical business where you're generating hundreds of thousands of people. In fact, we sold over 1 million tickets to our own events. Not backed by the bank, not backed by VC money, not by private equity. Just everything we earned from that 10-year-old boy, just building and building and building. It's been some journey, but the pivot was key in the pandemic. That was key. Because I was researching for probably 5 months, what can I do? What business can I do? I didn't know what business to do. But then we created an online education. But I didn't like lessons at school. I loved school, but I didn't like lessons. And I hated exams. I was rubbish. I was like a C and a D student. But I created this business that has no exams, that is accessible and it's quick, that you can do it in 3 months and we can get you a job within the events industry. We brought 40 of the world's leading English industry experts in, from Glastonbury Festival to the Olympics to London Fashion Week to Chelsea Football Club. All these people pre-recorded. And we built that business up, scaled the business, and now we sold it. So we've got the media business now and the festival. So we sold 2, we're still running 2. And I just love it. I love the game. It's a game. And you know what? If anyone out there, I just come off another podcast and they say, what do you love about it? I said, I love everything about it. I like the risk. I like the sleepless nights. I like everything about it. I like opening doors. I like introducing people. I like using all my contacts over the years. But you really have to treat it as an extreme sport, because you can't just walk into entrepreneurship. People see it in 2020 when everyone was having the whole summer off and going, I'm creating a business because my work's paying me. I want to create this business. I'm seeing lots of those people folding over the last 1 year, 18 months, and are now going, I need to go back and go to a 9-to-5 job, because it's not for the faint-hearted. You know, you're there having to do the marketing, the sales, the operations, building a culture, offices, paying the bills, doing the social media. You're doing everything until you get to a position where you can start growing your members of staff. And people think, due to social media, there's got its pros and cons, is that social media is telling everyone that you can earn £1 million a year or £500,000 a year. It just doesn't happen like as quick as that. It doesn't. And, you know, I say to a lot of people or mentors, like, if you can get to 100 grand, you're doing unbelievably well. Unbelievably well. You know, 90% of business at the moment aren't making any money. And I'm just seeing the unemployment rate do that, and I'm seeing businesses do that. But the government won't talk about it.
Two things to pick up. One is, you tried to get into the school bit, and we went straight to entrepreneurial.
I love the way he answered it.
Yeah, it was brilliant. It was brilliant to watch.
But he has said he hated exams.
I was just going to say, yeah, that's what you were looking for to discuss. So I want to so pick it up. The hook's been fed off now. You hated lessons. You love school because it gave you.
I love lessons because I know I can make everyone laugh and be disruptive.
Right.
That's what I loved.
The Artful Dodger.
I knew that I'm going to have a good laugh in this lesson because I know that teacher's a bit weak, or there's something we're going to have a laugh about, or there's something going on in the lesson to have a laugh. But I was also very disruptive.
Were you ever...
In a nice way,
yeah,
in a horrible way.
Well, everything you do is in a nice way.
Yeah.
And I think that's what your mum and dad gave you, isn't it? No matter what you do it in a nice way, a win-win, as you said, that your mum told you. So in nearly everybody else I've had this conversation with who's as ADHD as you are, they'll have been pushed out of school, expelled from school.
Got into a lot of trouble.
And the system would have rejected them out of hand.
Yeah.
Somehow it didn't reject you, because I don't know why. I can suspect
Sport.
Why. Right. Were you that
I was good at sport.
So it's
that
worth
got me
keeping
through.
you in.
Yeah. But I had a couple of suspensions thrown in the mix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I,
But nothing major.
that's a no-shit
Couple of
show
weeks.
at the moment. That,
Yeah,
isn't
a
it?
couple of weeks here, a couple of weeks there. But the annoying thing they did when they suspended me, because I celebrated, I was like, yeah, I'm going to be with my dad. Because he come and picked me up, and I was just excited to have a couple of weeks. But then they stopped me playing sport. They stopped me playing in the national school sevens because it was time. They stopped me in another, and that's what really hurt.
Right. So, okay.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed lessons because I could be the clown. I could be
Yeah.
disruptive. I could be, you had your punishment. That hurt.
Yeah.
And did that change anything for
No.
you? That's not the right answer.
No.
So how did you stop that happening? How did you stop the suspension?
Don't get caught.
Okay, fair enough.
Because he got more artful, Dodger. All of this
It was just, I just had such fun at school, I can't tell you.
Well, it sounds it. And so you survived school, but you didn't survive school, did you? You thrived off
Yeah.
school.
Well, I was earning good money.
Yeah.
I was earning a lot of money from
Not
this.
the right answer.
You won't have this conversation with anyone else.
No, but I'm saying I was good money. So I was addicted to school because I was getting the dopamine hit playing sport and thriving at sport. Lessons I wasn't good at, apart from sport and maths. And then I just knew that the subjects they were teaching, Latin and Pythagoras theory and all this other stuff,
Bunsen burner.
it wasn't worth my time because I just knew it wasn't.
But it was filling in the gaps to make
Filling
money.
the gap.
School was making money for you.
Made a fortune.
It was a breeding ground for
I
you.
did really well at school for the whole of those 10 years.
Yeah, but the
You're totally stumped, aren't you?
Yeah,
you are like, I can say it's
I
brilliant.
am working so hard in this interview, it's untrue. But I really am. You're amazing. I just can't get over this. Did you do well at school? Yes, I did really well at school. The answer's meant to be, and I got 8 O levels, and I went on to get A levels. Your answer is, I earned a fortune.
Yeah.
You
I didn't do A levels either.
And created an
I
opportunity.
didn't do A levels
No,
either.
did you leave school then?
No, I didn't do A levels, but I got into Loughborough Sports Uni for leadership and sport through the back door. And you had to have an AAB in A levels, and I didn't do A level. I found it very hard to read, learn, and regurgitate.
Right.
I just couldn't do it.
So how did you get into
I
Loughborough?
paid all the rich kids at uni to do all my coursework. So they would get me 85%. I'd get through the exam at 20-odd%, and I'd get a pass. But I had to stay at uni because of the money I was earning. I was doing $3,000 a week at uni. $3,000 a week because I had the nightclubs. So I was doing $3,000 cash a week. I was saying, this is unbelievable. I don't need to be. I didn't go to. When I went and got my degree, it was funny, right? Because I went and got my degree. We got in at 4:00 in the morning before. Me and my pal Joe, before we went to go on stage, and Loughborough Uni is obviously a big sports uni. I didn't have a tie, didn't have a jacket. My dad and mum come up. My dad lent me the tie, the jacket, and I think he lent me something else. Because my son is Woodall, when I went on stage, there was 1,000 people in there knew exactly what I was doing, the nightclubs and earning the money. I had a nightclub in London and a nightclub in Loughborough. There was this massive raucous roar when I went on stage because they know I ended up getting a degree, which I shouldn't have got a degree, but...
It's you. Your story's phenomenal.
Who's going to play you in the movie of your life? Who's going to be up to being that character?
It's got to be Dodge. himself. Look at him.
God knows. But because I don't know any other way.
That's what's coming across, right? That's what's so refreshing, right? Like, and we're laughing with you because it's like actually so many people have got quite a convoluted journey to them finding themselves. You've
never let go of yourself, have you?
Yeah, you embraced it early. You had fair play to your parents, real encouragement and
my
mentorship
parents
there.
gave me the most amount of self-belief any kid could ever want.
But there's no arrogance.
That's really important. That.
There's no arrogance there that I can see.
There's no need for it.
I know you well, and that sort of self-belief without ego and arrogance, like I've sort of pivoted in recent times, and Dodge has been looking over my shoulder, giving me that advice, sending me messages. I know he does that to lots of people because he cares. And I think you get a huge amount of messages, including I saw one pop up on your Instagram this morning where someone's called their kid Dodge.
Yeah,
that would have run deep because you're affecting people's lives on a big scale now because you have an audience. But actually, at the heart of it, it's all heartfelt. I mean, our chat over there for lunch before, it's exactly the same.
I don't know any different.
Yeah.
I've not been taught anything to go, I should try it that way. Every business that I've started, give it a go. Your parents as a young kid, everything I'd wanted to do as a kid, want to give it a go. Go on, give it a go.
So have you got kids?
Yeah, so I've got an 11-year-old. He's lovely. He's really well-mannered, and he's got a great little business mind on him.
Funny that.
Yeah. No, but he's really well-mannered, and he's a beautiful soul on him.
Yeah. So are you allowing the wrong word? Are you enabling him to be Dodge too?
Yeah, 100%.
How much money is he making at school?
He's earning all right. But he's thinking about it. It's about the mind. No one talks about the mind. This is the most powerful muscle we have. And what I've noticed over the years is when doing the 300 odd interviews or friends of mine, people haven't gone back and sorted out what happened as a kid. Your belief system as a kid, you're around a dinner table and your parents might go, can't afford that, we haven't got the money, can't do that. So your belief system is, I'm not good with money, or I can't afford it. I know people are building businesses and scaling at the moment, but they're not scaling it well enough to get the right outcome at the end because they still got the belief system as a kid that they're not good enough, or they don't, or money's not linked to them, or they don't. It's just a lot of things that need clearing up.
I don't think you understand your own secret sauce enough, because if you did, that would be your next entrepreneurial gift, because you've not gone against the system, you've just never accepted the system.
That's well put.
You've not butted heads with it.
No.
You've milked it for everything it's worth to make it work.
It's funny you say that. Now you've got my mind spinning now. My old man, my mum and dad always told me break the rules, but never break the law.
Right.
And all I've ever done is cheekily broke the rules in everything that I've done. Because I don't see if there's a rule book there, I just won't read it, I won't do anything, I'll just do and bring people along the journey.
That's like almost like the rules of norms as opposed to the rules of state, the law. A kid of 10 is not meant to be an entrepreneur. Well, I want to be one.
Yeah.
I'm going to
But we didn't know what entrepreneur was back then.
No.
All I saw was, how come everyone around me is earning money? How come I live in a 2-bed flat above a pub with 2 Alsatians, a Doberman, 4 budgie regards, a cockatoo and a monkey?
A film needs to be made, mate.
Yeah,
That's what I grew up with.
So to try and
they were all pets.
Right, let's try and get to an outcome that we can see as a tangible learning point for other people here, because there's so much.
Great pet monkey, by the way. Mitzi, his name was.
Just the environment is crucial here, right? I mean, that's what I'm thriving off. I'm like what your parents gave you, they enabled you. They gave you the mindset to do, not the mindset to pause and think, and that's a strength. You've clearly got that, but what you've got is that personality, that beautiful, adorable, lovable, cheeky chappy personality. Robbie Williams was played in his film by a monkey because they couldn't think who was going to play him in the film. We're in the same scenario here, aren't we? What's your strongest piece of advice that you give to your lad on a regular basis?
Be curious.
That's the word I've been doing.
Be curious every single day. Before we go to school, I'll say to him, be curious, mate. Ask lots of questions.
Is he a mini you or a mini, or is more a mini mum? Is he more you or is he more
50-50. I've got a beautiful wife, 50-50. My wife's amazing, by the way. I can't just...
Oh,
she's unreal. We're so opposite. She's from Wales. She's all countryside and animals and insects and da-da-da. And she's married a promoter from London. But we just get on so well, like 22 years.
Yin
so
yang.
well. So well. She's unreal, but she's the financial director behind the company. So she protects the money and allows to bring it in. So it works really well.
And probably manages a lot of your sort of energy, if you like, and perhaps in some ways is a boundary, if you like, or a reference point when you might be going...
She's a sounding board, but she doesn't want to know my business. She doesn't want to know too much detail. She just wants to live a nice husband and wife and family. She doesn't want to know what I did today.
So,
do you know what I love? The curious was what I was literally wanted to say. I've never met anyone that asks more questions. Every time we connect, and I'll be sat next to each other at an entrepreneur's dinner, and you were just asking so many questions to me, to that person, and yet this is someone that didn't enjoy school. Wasn't so? If you think the disconnect there,
enjoy school.
I love school.
Learning at school in lessons,
because
which is why you're supposed to go to school.
Why do I want to learn something?
Get his head around the fact that school is...
So why do I want to learn something to regurgitate it? I just couldn't get my head around that.
I am not seeing any fault in anything you said at all.
When you lock in on something that you're interested in, you cannot stop asking questions. Why are you doing that?
I'm all in.
You've done it to me before. And you almost like you want to take the shirt off me. Well, what's the point? Where are you going? And I can see you're so visible with it, and that's what.
So what we've got here is truly complex for me to try and put into a closing statement. You've got the very definition of a cheeky chappy. Totally and utterly a people person, aren't you? Absolutely a people person.
Everyone.
Always curious. Don't accept the rule that's going to be a handbrake. You haven't got a handbrake of rules, have you? No. And for the person with ADHD that's watching this, who's following this, if you go all the way back, perhaps people aren't given enough courage to be. They're not told the rule book will not work for you, so create your own. And create your own within the boundaries of the law and what's acceptable, but take it to those boundaries. Do it with a smile. Do it where there's no losers. Win-win. Your mum told you win-win. So no losers, no victims, but don't be a victim yourself and don't make a victim of other people.
Yeah.
And your mum's not used those words, but I would put in there. And because you're wired differently, use that wiring to be a success. The win-win. Challenge the rules, but not break the law. Make your own rules to suit you so you can be successful. You are the very definition of doing it differently and being incredibly successful.
With a big smile on your face.
With a big smile on your face.
I'm putting a lot of smiles on other people's faces as well.
That's what I love doing.
I've got to take my hat off to you. I've never met anybody like you. I've never interviewed anybody like you.
We never will.
And I think it'll only be a 3G or whatever they call it, a false monkey that could ever play you in the film of your life, because I don't think there's a human that will equal you. And this has been the most amazing, challenging, rewarding interview I think we've ever done.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy school? I loved school was not the answer you were looking for. And it wasn't because I learned Latin, it was because I made a fortune. Yeah. And on that, as a finishing note, I think you're an amazing man. Well done.
I do appreciate that. I just want to go back to the point you made earlier, saying, what's your next thing? You said, what's your next thing? Now you sold that. I'm in the middle of writing a book called Straight Talking Founder, and I'm launching a podcast called Straight Talking Founder, because people keep saying to me, why don't you just get it out there? Yeah. Because everyone I meet, we have this lovely vibe. I love being around lucky people. Hopefully people enjoy being around me, because I feel a lucky person. But just being that straight talking founder and just going boom and helping people, that's the next chapter for me.
But what most people don't do when they're straight talking is make it a win-win, make it everybody happy, and challenge the rules.
There's a selfish...
There's a selflessness in you, whereas some people have a selfishness about being straight talking. There's no victim in your life behind you. There's no victim left behind. There's nobody hurt by you being straight talking. There's people adoring you for being straight talking and admiring that honesty. That's your secret sauce, that you can do that in the way that you do it. And I want to read your book.
Yeah. And you know what name is? I am so excited by this next chapter. I'm so excited to have a podcast where you can just be interviewed and speak, and hopefully thousands or millions, however it grows, is going to learn from it, going, God, there is actually another way. We don't have to do it like the rule book has said. We can actually do it like this and learn some bits and pieces off him. And if I can bring more people together and put smiles on people's faces, I know that I'm done. That's what I've done all my life. And this next chapter is the next bit that I think I'm going to get the most reward from.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
You're just, I mean,
I just want to
we're
follow
mates
that.
today. I've enjoyed I've been so looking forward to this, and you've still surprised me. The amount of conversations we had, but I'm learning from you all the time. And thank you for making time to come and talk
My
about
pleasure.
it.
I've enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I don't know what it's coming to, but it's good.
You're
On that
awesome,
note,
bud.
Quality.
done.
Good stuff. Cheers, Phil. Good man.